Li Jing returned defeated to the heavenly court and reported the situation to the Jade Emperor. The Jade Emperor was astonished and wanted to send more troops. However, Tai Bai Jinxing advised against it, saying, "In that case, why not simply bestow upon him the empty title of Great Sage equal to heaven and keep him in heaven? This will avoid further conflicts." The Jade Emperor accepted the advice and ordered Tai Bai Jinxing to go and offer Sun Wukong the position. Tai Bai Jinxing arrived at Flower Fruit Mountain, only to find it heavily guarded. Suddenly, drums sounded and the guards rushed out, surrounding him with their spears and swords. Tai Bai Jinxing hurriedly said, Hold on. Go and inform your king that I have come to invite him to heaven for an official position." The monkeys hurriedly reported the news to Sun Wukong. Upon learning that Tai Bai Jinxing had arrived again, Sun Wukong smiled and said, "Excellent. Tai Bai Jinxing's visit today must bring good news." He ordered his followers to prepare grandly and welcomed Jinxing into the water curtain cave. Tai Bai Jinxing presented the Jade Emperor's decree to Sun Wukong. After reading it, Sun Wukong was overjoyed. He instructed his subordinates to take care of the cave and departed with Jinxing on a cloud for his second ascent to heaven. As they approached the southern gate of heaven, Sun Wukong walked proudly. The heavenly guards and officials greeted him respectfully from afar. Sun Wukong, full of confidence, simply nodded in response without saying a word. Upon reaching the Lingxiao Palace, Tai Bai Jinxing presented the decree again. The Jade Emperor said to Sun Wukong, "Sun Wukong, you are now conferred with the highest rank. You must not cause trouble anymore." Sun Wukong respectfully thanked the Jade Emperor for appointing him as the Great Sage equal to heaven. The Jade Emperor ordered officials to build a residence for Sun Wukong on the right side of the Peach Garden, where the Bureau of Tranquility and the Bureau of Peace were established. Immortal officials were appointed to serve in these bureaus, and Wu Do Xingjun was assigned to accompany Sun Wukong on his duties. After becoming the Great Sage equal to heaven, Sun Wukong lived a carefree life, roaming freely in all directions, making friends with various gods and immortals, and treating them as equals. One day, during the morning court session, Su Jingyang Zhenren reported to the Jade Emperor that Sun Wukong was idle, socializing with the stars and constellations of heaven, regardless of rank, which might lead to trouble. Hearing this, the Jade Emperor immediately summoned Sun Wukong to assign him the responsibility of managing the Peach Garden. Sun Wukong thanked the Jade Emperor for his trust and eagerly went to inspect the Peach Garden. As he entered, the guardian spirits asked, "Where is the Great Sage going?" Sun Wukong explained that he was appointed by the Jade Emperor to oversee the Peach Garden. The spirits respectfully greeted him and led him to meet the gardeners. The guardian spirits introduced Sun Wukong to the Peach Garden, explaining that there were 1,200 peach trees in the front, middle, and rear sections. The front section bore fruit every 3,000 years, granting immortality. The middle section bore fruit every 6,000 years, granting eternal youth, and the rear section bore fruit every 9,000 years, granting longevity equal to that of heaven. Sun Wukong was delighted to hear this. From then on, the Great Sage no longer roamed aimlessly, but visited the Peach Garden every few days for inspection. One day, tempted by the ripe peaches, he devised a plan to steal them. Sun Wukong, knowing that his attendants were always watching, pretended to be tired and asked them to wait outside while he rested in a pavilion. Once alone, he climbed the peach trees and indulged himself by eating the ripest peaches. From then on, he visited regularly to feast on the peaches. One day, the Queen Mother of the West decided to hold a peach banquet at the Jade Pool and sent 7 fairies to pick the peaches. However, they were stopped by the guardian spirits, who insisted on notifying Sun Wukong before allowing them to proceed. The fairies, unable to find Sun Wukong in the garden, were allowed to enter by the guardian spirits. Little did they know, Sun Wukong had transformed into a tiny figure and was sleeping among the dense foliage. When the fairies began picking the peaches, they woke Sun Wukong, who appeared before them with his golden cudgel, demanding to know who dared to steal his peaches. Frightened, the fairies knelt and explained their situation. Upon learning about the peach banquet, Sun Wukong's anger turned to joy. He asked which gods were invited and whether he was among them. The fairies replied that they hadn't heard of his invitation. Sun Wukong angrily declared, "I am the great sage equal to heaven. I should be invited as a guest of honor." Sun Wukong decided to attend the banquet anyway. Using his magic, he immobilized the fairies and proceeded to the jade pool on his cloud. On the way, he encountered the barefoot immortal, who was also heading to the banquet. Sun Wukong tricked him into believing that he was sent by the Jade Emperor to lead the way and instructed him to go to the Hall of Enlightenment first. The barefoot immortal, though puzzled, trusted Sun Wukong's words and changed his course. Meanwhile, Sun Wukong disguised himself as the barefoot immortal and continued toward the Jade Pool. Arriving at the Jade Pool, Sun Wukong saw the splendid setup of the banquet hall, filled with exquisite delicacies and fragrant wines. Seeing that the other gods had not yet arrived, he couldn't resist his appetite. Eager to partake in the feast, but seeing the attendants still busy, Sun Wukong used his magic to put them to sleep. With the path clear, he eagerly approached the banquet hall, where the aroma of the food and wine beckoned him. Seeing that everyone was sound asleep, the great sage brought out a variety of delicacies and dishes, sitting in the corridor and drinking heartily from jugs and barrels. After drinking heavily, Sun Wukong thought to himself, "This is not good at all. If guests arrive and find me like this, it won't be good. It's better to return to my residence and sleep." So, he stumbled out of the jade pool. Sun Wukong, under the influence of alcohol, staggered aimlessly. He accidentally wandered to the Duoluo Palace of the Departed Longing, but then suddenly thought, "Since I'm here, why not pay a visit to the Supreme Old Lord?" Sun Wukong straightened his clothes and entered the palace, but found no one around. The Supreme Old Lord and the ancient Buddha burning lamp were giving a lecture in the 3-story tall Vermilion Hall, attended by all the celestial attendants, generals, and officials. Sun Wukong barged into the hall but found it empty, except for the still-burning fire in the furnace and 5 gourds placed nearby, each containing refined golden elixirs. Sun Wukong was delighted and thought, "These elixirs are excellent. Today, fate has led me to them, so why not taste them?" Sun Wukong tasted a few pills and found them extremely beneficial. He decided to consume all the elixirs in the 5 gourds in one go, gobbling them down like roasted beans. After finishing the elixirs and sobering up, he realized the trouble he had caused. If the Jade Emperor found out, his life would be in danger. Knowing that he couldn't escape punishment, Sun Wukong decided to flee back to the mountain of flowers and fruits. Passing by the Jade Pool, he thought, "The fine wines and fruits of the Jade Pool are rare treasures. I should bring some back for my children to taste." So, he plucked a hair and transformed it into a sack, filling it with a large quantity of treasures before heading back to the mountain. Meanwhile, the 7 fairies finally broke free from Sun Wukong's spell after circling the sky for a week. They hurried back to report everything that had happened in the Peach Garden to the Queen Mother. The Queen Mother was furious and sought the Jade Emperor's intervention. Shortly after, heavenly officials reported to the Jade Emperor, "Your Majesty, someone has disrupted the peach banquet. All the divine wines and fruits have been stolen." Before the Jade Emperor could inquire further, the 4 great heavenly teachers arrived, announcing, "The Supreme Tao Ancestor has come." The Jade Emperor and the Queen Mother went out to welcome him. The Supreme Tao Ancestor, sweating profusely, reported, "Your Majesty, the 9-turned golden pills, which were being refined for the Divine Elixir Conference, have been stolen." I implore your majesty to investigate." As the Supreme Tao ancestor finished speaking, the barefoot immortal hurriedly arrived and recounted how Sun Wukong had deceived him into going to the Hall of Enlightenment. Upon hearing this, the Jade Emperor began to suspect Sun Wukong's involvement and dispatched a celestial inspector to find his whereabouts. After the celestial inspector's investigation, he reported back, "The troublemaker who disrupted the heavenly court is none other than the great sage equal to heaven, who has already fled back to the mountain of flowers and fruits." Enraged, the Jade Emperor immediately ordered the 4 great heavenly kings, along with Li Tianwang and Neza, to lead an army to capture Sun Wukong. Li Tianwang mobilized 100,000 heavenly soldiers, including the 28 constellations, 9 luminaries, 12 unfathomables, 5 cardinal directions, 4 celestial values, eastern and western star dippers, southern and northern guardians, 5 sacred mountains, and 4 major rivers, and descended to the mortal realm with a formidable force, heading towards the mountain of flowers and fruits. As the heavenly army approached, the sky was filled with dark clouds and a palpable aura of battle. Sun Wukong, drinking with the demon kings in his cave, received a report that 9 fierce deities were shouting insults outside. Unperturbed, he commanded the demon king of the single horn to lead the troops out of the cave to confront them. A fierce battle erupted outside the water curtain cave. The demon king of the single horn was no match for the 9 luminaries and was forced back to the iron bridge, with the enemy poised to break into the cave. Suddenly, Sun Wukong, wielding his golden cudgel, leaped out with a cry of "Clear the way," and launched a ferocious attack. Sun Wukong fought valiantly, overpowering the 9 luminaries one by one. Seeing this, Li Tianwang ordered the 4 great heavenly kings and the 28 constellations to join the battle. The celestial warriors charged forward, and the battlefield was shrouded in darkness and chaos. Sun Wukong fought with increasing ferocity, wielding his cudgel as if in an empty realm. The heavenly soldiers and generals were no match for him, and the sky grew dark as ghosts wailed and gods cried out in fear. Seeing the situation turning against them, Li Tianwang ordered Neza and the 4 great heavenly kings to the front lines to resist. However, knowing they were no match for Sun Wukong, they could only defend themselves in desperation. Sensing that night was falling and unwilling to prolong the battle, Sun Wukong plucked a hair, chewed it, and spat it out into the air, shouting, "Transform!" In an instant, he multiplied into thousands of clones, each wielding a golden cudgel and charging at the heavenly warriors. The sight of thousands of Sun Wukong struck fear into the hearts of Li Tianwang and his army. The celestial warriors lost all morale and fled in disarray. Victorious in battle, Sun Wukong pointed his cudgel at the heavens and laughed heartily.